Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Guyana's top cop denies reports of an upsurge in crime on the heels of a U.S. travel advisory. Our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, June 3rd. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Dawn Paris. Good evening. Guyana's top cop has denied there has been any increase in crime following a United States travel advisory. In the advisory issued last week, the U.S. urged travelers to exercise increased caution in Guyana due to crime. It said violent crime such as armed robbery and murder is common. And it also charged that local police lack the resources to respond effectively to serious criminal incidents. But Police Commissioner Leslie James said on Monday that compared to corresponding figures last year, crime is actually down by 2.7%. And he says that is based on actual crimes reported to the Guyana Police Force.
I wish to advise very, very clearly there is no upsurge in crime in the state of Guyana. There have been a few sensational, what we refer to as sensational crimes, which were reported by you, colleagues in the media fraternity. And as normal, expectedly so, you may have person or persons concerned about the occurrence of those crimes. So do we. As a premier law enforcement body in the state, we are concerned whenever there is any singular occurrence of any crime. But I wish to assure the populace, and by extension, visitors to the state of Guyana and our residents abroad within the diaspora that crime is not on the increase.
Also reacting to the advisory, Director General of the Ministry of the President, Joseph Harmon, insisted that Guyana is a safe place to live, work, and to invest. Don't expect to hear much from Antigua and Barbuda's Prime Minister Gaston Brown on his country's negotiations with Barbados on buying its LIAT shares. He says he'll be more quiet on the issue from now until a formal agreement is reached. Brown had been open about his government's interest in purchasing LIAT shares from the Antigua-based airline's largest shareholder government, and he had disclosed to the media in the Twin Island nation when he had written to the Barbados government expressing interest when his Barbadian counterpart Mia Mottley had responded inviting him to send a negotiating team. But Prime Minister Mottley had repeatedly told the media in her country when questioned that she would not be discussing the matter in the public domain. And although he has defended his openness, Prime Minister Brown says he'll be more reserved on this issue in the interest of maintaining harmony.
Create any animosity between myself and the Prime Minister of Barbados. I think she seems a little offended that I continue to brief the people of Antigua and Barbuda on the developments. That is my style, to be as open and as transparent as possible. I respect her position. She says she'd rather deal with her articulations in the Parliament of Barbados. So my understanding is that, she has not made a formal statement as yet. And we are waiting a formal statement so that we can further apprise the people of Antigua and Barbuda.
Brown has already disclosed that Barbados is willing to sell most of its 49% stake in the regional airline, but wants to retain at least 10%. Antigua and Barbuda currently owns 34% of the shares. The other shareholder governments are St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dominica, and Grenada. Well, in other news, the Antigua and Barbuda Prime Minister and a senior United Nations official have called on CARICOM countries to intensify efforts to eliminate the use of single-use plastics and end plastic pollution. The calls came over the weekend as the Twin Island nation hosted a festival called Play It Out as part of a global UN effort to raise awareness about and fight plastic pollution. Prime Minister Brown was among key officials who spoke at the concert at the Sir Vivian Ritters National Stadium that featured local, regional and international artists. Although welcoming the steps taken by several CARICOM nations to reduce or eliminate single-use plastics, he urged the countries that have not yet introduced such measures to take the necessary steps to do so.
And it is now time for CARICOM action. To effectively address plastic pollution in the Caribbean Sea and to deal with the issue of plastic pollution, it must be seen and addressed as a regional problem with a regional response. As a major player within CARICOM, Antigua and Barbuda will continue to lead by example in our responsibility to protect the environment. Therefore, I am urgently calling on all CARICOM leaders to join me in declaring an end to plastic litter and microplastic pollution in the Caribbean Sea.
Antigua and Barbuda was the first in the region to ban single-use plastics and styrofoam, and over the weekend the government signed the St. John's Declaration to beat plastic pollution, which calls on countries within and outside CARICOM to commit to addressing the damage to the ecosystem caused by the unsustainable use and disposal of plastic products, including by significantly reducing single-use plastic products by 2030. Prime Minister Brown said the declaration was another step for joint regional action and an appeal to other regions, partners and the international community, including the United Nations, to immediately enact measures to address plastic pollution, particularly banning single-use plastics.
Our region may be small, but our actions must be big and bold in addressing the issue of plastic pollution.
Well, President of the UN General Assembly, Maria Fernanda Espinosa, who is leading a global call to action on plastic pollution, said the St. John's Declaration was not only historic and highly practical, but it can be implemented. And she said it highlights the island's leadership on plastics action and the need for urgent and strong commitment to combat the pollution. Espinosa said Antigua and Barbuda is the first country in the group of Latin American and Caribbean countries to take such extensive action on single-use plastics. And the senior UN official told CMC News that several individual countries are heading in the right direction. But she stressed a CARICOM approach is required. We have to come back to that clip, but Espinosa stressed that it was in CARICOM's best interest to work together to beat plastic pollution. Member states of the Eastern Caribbean Telecommunications Authority, ECTEL, had access to mobile number portability from Monday. That means consumers can now keep their current mobile phone numbers when switching from one provider to another. The formal announcement of number portability introduction was made at a recent ECTEL conference. More in this report from GBN News. Well, over 2,000 Venezuelan migrants have been registered so far in Trinidad and Tobago. That's the story we're on right now, that over 2,000 Venezuelan migrants have been registered so far in Trinidad and Tobago under the country's amnesty plan. Under the plan, Venezuelans who are registered will be allowed to work and live in Trinidad for a year. We'll have more on that after the break.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
The onion and garlic and the curry leaves have been cooking for about 2 minutes now. Now I'm going to throw in my curry and my spices. So now it's time to add your chicken. And when you add your chicken, you got to stir it really well for that curry to coat the outside of the chicken. So you see how nice it looks?
We go back to that story about President of the UN General Assembly, Maria Fernanda Espinosa, leading a global call to action on plastic pollution and saying the St. John's Declaration signed in Antigua and Barbuda on plastic pollution over the weekend was not only historic and highly practical, but can be implemented. And she said it highlights island leadership on plastics action and the need for urgent and strong commitment to combat plastic pollution. Espinosa said Antigua and Barbuda is the first country in the group of Latin American and Caribbean countries to take such extensive action on single-use plastics. The senior UN official told CMC News that several individual countries are heading in the right direction, but she stressed that a CARICOM approach is required.
Well, several countries are already doing what they should do. Several Caribbean countries. The idea is to bring the Caribbean community, the CARICOM community, to ban single-use plastics. And the process is there. The political commitment of Caribbean countries is there, and we need to implement. And the country that was very bold to do it first was Antigua and Barbuda. That's why we're here. That's why the played out concert is taking place here, and because also of the great personal commitment of the Prime Minister.
Well, Espinosa stressed that it was in CARICOM's best interest to work together to beat plastic pollution.
And rely on the coastal resources, the life underwater. So it is extremely important that the Caribbean in its entirety is a single-use plastic-free region.
The body of late former Jamaican Prime Minister Edward Seaga is back in the land of his birth. It arrived at Kingston's Norman Manley International Airport on Sunday evening, just shy of a week after he died in a hospital in the United States. Seaga's coffin, draped in the national flag, was received by members of the cabinet and the opposition, among others. Seaga, Jamaica's fifth Prime Minister, died on his 89th birthday on May 28th. He will be accorded a state funeral, and several current and former prime ministers, as well as leaders from across the world, are expected to attend. Health officials will meet in Trinidad later this month for the 64th annual CARFA Health Research Conference. It will be held under the theme Primary Health Care, Current and the Future Models for the Caribbean. CARFA's Executive Director, Dr. James Hospitalis, has been outlining some of the areas of focus for the conference. That's ahead in Newsline Health.
The prevalence of non-communicable diseases remains a major concern for regional health officials. Speaking ahead of the conference, CARFA's Executive Director, Dr. James Hospitalis, said the Caribbean needs to step up its efforts to maintain good health. He pointed to the program Jamaica Moves as one initiative that can be adopted throughout the Caribbean to promote healthy living.
If we could get 20% of trips that are less than 5 kilometers to switch over to bike or walk, that's good for people's health. It's good for the environment. You spend a little less money on foreign exchange for fuel. You could link it to tourism and urban greening and so on. So there are some interventions that I think we want to promote as positive things that benefit human health and the environment and economic activity, given how tourism dependent we are. CARICOM moves, or the Caribbean moves, look out for that.
Dr. Hospitalis says health officials will also highlight the importance of public education when they meet later this month.
How do you educate people? You need to have front of pack labeling that says this product is high in salt, fat, or sugar. Think twice before you buy it. Not red, green, yellow, all kinds of colors. Just one single label that the region accepts based on nutritional profiling, that these certain products are high in salt, fat, sugar, and you consume them, at your peril, so to speak. Those kinds of products cannot be in schools. They cannot be marketed to children. That immediately pushes manufacturers to reformulate to reduce levels of harmful ingredients.
CARFA's annual health research conference will be held from June 20th to 22nd. Mary-Claire Williams, Newsline Health.
Ahead in Newsline Sport, Pakistan bounced back to beat England by 14 runs in the ICC World Cup. Stay with us.
It was fun, ended prematurely, but it's fine.
It was really good. It was a really good vibe. I got here from about 4-ish.
In related news, following the release of Country for Sale, Buju Banton's first track since being released from prison, the artist and his team are reportedly already looking to release an album within the next 3 months. Country for Sale shot to the top of the iTunes reggae chart, where it dislodged Coffee's Toast, and it has since been earning rave reviews from Buju Banton fans globally.
Well, joining us now direct from New York City is Mr. Warren Wang. Warren is the CEO of ChineseInvestors.com Incorporated. CIIX is a stock symbol. Warren, welcome back to the show.
Hi, Donald. How are you?
Well, thank you. I'm doing terrific. Now, we have a special treat this week. You're going to give us a tour of your New York City offices.
Sure. Here's our CBD division. I just want to explain to our viewers, we just hit
A combined batting effort by batsmen Mohammad Hafiz and Babar Azam saw Pakistan beating host England by 14 runs at Trent Bridge on Monday. The Pakistanis bounced back from their humiliating defeat against West Indies last Friday to set up their highest World Cup total of 348 for 8 in the first innings. Hafiz struck a top score of 83 from 62 deliveries, while Azam scored 63. Off-spinner Moeen Ali was England's leading wicket taker with figures of 3 for 50. Here are the highlights of the first innings.
Down the ground, first sign of real aggression. Yeah, on the pull, on the pull. Oh, scoop. He went down so early for the scoop there. That's a gorgeous shot. And it's hit just wide. No, brilliant, brilliant. Very positive start. That is a real statement of intent.
Big shot, it's a Seaga. That could be end of Hafiz. Oh! Goes big again. It's bigger and mightier for 6.
Thrown up. He invited the hit. Down the ground. Wokes has already taken a good one. Takes another good one.
Slow ball first up. Oh, it beats the fielder. He'll race away for 4. Frustration for Stokes. And he goes the aerial route over mid-on.
Chipped, but chipped a long way by Hafiz. Sweetly struck, but only as far as Wokes in the deep. Slower ball muscled away by Hassan Ali. Firmly hit. What an end to this innings for Pakistan.
Well, despite centuries from Joe Root and Jos Buttler, Pakistan's bowlers were on the attack as they dismissed the host team for 334 for 9. Fast bowler Wab Riaz was the pick of the bowlers with figures of 3 for 82, while leg spinner Shadab Khan and fast bowler Mohammad Amir picked up 2 wickets each.
Oh, flashed away past cover. Oh, out surely. Yeah, finger goes up. Bairstow, what a response that is. Oh, down. Can you believe it? Lovely from Joe Root.
Oh, yes, and it's back of a length that's done for Bairstow there.
Nicely played. Very nicely played. Cleaned him up. What a delivery.
That's out. Finger was raised. Big success for Shoaib in Pakistan. Sarfraz is not happy with the guy who was patrolling the fence. He wanted it a bit more squarer. Big shot. Clears the fielder in the ring. That's big shot. 6 gone. Big shot. Has it cleared the fence? It has. Massive from Root. Oh, special. 1 bounce over the rope.
Through the vacant slip area, away for 4. Edge past Sarfraz, still no slip. Flicked into the leg side. Has he got all of it? He's got enough of it.
Over mid-off this time. 100 partnership. Cry of yes. A raise of the bat. And a 15th 100. More runs here as he carves away behind square. Oh, he's gone. Good bit of bowling. Beats extra cover into the fence.
Hit away. Goes away for 4. The first World Cup 100 for Jos Buttler.
And gone. Toe end of the bat. 100 and out for Buttler.
And again, round arm. Long off, 6. Maximum.
now what a beauty that is. What a beauty that is, Wahab Riaz. Up in the air, third man in play. I think he's caught it. He has caught it. You can't keep Wahab Riaz out of the game. It's flicked away. It will go for 4, but they will not care one.
Meanwhile, reigning world champions Australia will hold no terrors for a confident West Indies when the two teams clash at Trent Bridge in their second outing in the World Cup on Thursday. The last time the two teams met in a one-day international 3 years ago, West Indies went down by 58 runs in the final of a Tri-Nation series in the Caribbean involving South Africa. West Indies also came off the worst in the last bilateral series 6 years ago, down under, suffering a heavy 5-0 whitewash. But head coach Floyd Reefer says West Indies would be taking a fearless approach to the upcoming contest. Reefer said on Monday, quote, "We are not worried about them. We're just focused on our game. We're focused on playing our brand of cricket. These set of guys are creating the brand of cricket they want to play, which is an aggressive, smart, confident, fearless cricket. And that's the brand we're continuing to play no matter what the opposition is." End quote. Reefer said despite the opening win, his side would remain grounded, focusing more on their execution than thinking about results. Guyana's Elton Dahari is now the holder of the Central American Boxing Federation, World Boxing Association, Central American Boxing Federation, and World Boxing Council belts after defeating homeboy Gilberto Cacique Mendoza by a unanimous decision in their super flyweight last Friday night. Despite suffering a black eye after clashing heads with his opponent, Dahari knocked down Mendoza, a former title challenger, in the 7th round before emerging victorious in their 10-round bout at the Vasco Núñez de Balboa Convention Center in Hotel El Panama. One of the judges gave the New York-based Dahari a 5-round victory with a score of 97-92, while the other two thought the fight was closer, with scores of 95-94 each. The 33-year-old bantamweight fighter, who fights under Havoc Boxing Promotions, has now won 21 consecutive bouts since 2010. Well, that's the sport. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Welcome to this year's 50th Caribbean Broadcast Union Assembly on the island of San Andres. San Andres is a small archipelago located in between Jamaica and Panama in the western Caribbean Sea. A lush, exotic island rich in culture, history, gastronomy, and breathtaking scenic views. Known for its beaches and 7-colored crystalline waters, the island of San Andres will be proudly hosting this year's event. CBU members will enjoy top-of-the-line accommodations for an unforgettable experience in San Andres, connecting Caribbean nations through this year's 50th edition of the CBU Assembly.
And that's Caribbean Newsline. For news and sports round the clock, subscribe to CanadaNews.com, and for more of our programming, log on to CaribVision.tv and check out our YouTube channel. We'll be back here again tomorrow, but from all of us at CMC News, thank you for watching and have yourselves a good night.